It happened in the blink of an eye. On the evening of June 25, 2025, life in Largo, Florida changed forever. The sky darkened suddenly. Winds began to scream. A violent tornado, born from a fast-developing storm system, tore through neighborhoods with terrifying speed. Families had minutes, some just seconds, to seek shelter as the storm barreled through mobile home communities, residential blocks, and busy intersections. Surveillance cameras captured what words struggle to explain. A mobile home lifted from its foundation, hurled into the air like a toy, and then smashed back to earth amidst a maelstrom of flying debris. Windows exploded. Power lines cracked and hissed. Roofs peeled away like paper. Thousands were plunged into darkness, not just without power, but gripped in fear. The destruction left behind was something out of a nightmare. Entire front yards buried in insulation, shattered glass, and family belongings. Trees uprooted, vehicles battered and flipped. Lives upended in seconds. In the Ranchero Village and Bay Ranch communities, areas filled with manufactured homes, the tornado left its harshest mark. Structures were shredded. Walls buckled inward. Streets were unrecognizable. One 76-year-old woman was inside her home when it was tossed and slammed down by the twister. Miraculously, she survived with minor injuries. Her beloved cat, however, is still missing. It was a night no one was prepared for. Emergency sirens came too late for many. The tornado formed so quickly that radar had barely flagged it before it was already tearing into neighborhoods. Local residents near Belcher Road and Alton Drive described an eerie silence followed by a horrifying roar, like a train charging toward them. "I looked outside," one man said, voice shaking, "and all I saw was a wall of wind coming for us." In Pinebrook, rooftops were ripped away as if sliced by invisible hands. Trees leaned at unnatural angles, snapped and hanging by threads. Metal fragments from gutters, car doors, and store signs spun through the air like knives. One bystander described it as nature throwing shrapnel. Despite the chaos, the community's response was immediate and determined. Firefighters, EMTs, and volunteers went door to door in the dark, checking for survivors. Gas lines were shut off to prevent explosions. Power teams began the long process of restoring electricity. In Ranchero Village alone, over 20 homes were left with missing roofs or caved-in walls. Bay Ranch faced similar devastation. But somehow, there were no reported fatalities. It's a miracle that's hard to explain. Maybe it was luck, maybe instinct, maybe something greater. But it was clear, Largo had been spared the worst kind of tragedy, but not by much. The storm that birthed the tornado was part of a supercell, an intense, isolated thunderstorm capable of spawning deadly conditions in minutes. Meteorologists from the National Weather Service later confirmed it. This was indeed a tornado, and a powerful one. They're still analyzing the wind speeds and the full path of destruction, but the damage speaks for itself. In places like Palm Harbor and Clearwater, large hail pounded rooftops, shattering skylights and denting vehicles. Lightning flashed nonstop, lighting the sky like a war zone. The wind didn't just blow, it screamed, tore, and shredded. Experts say Florida's unique coastal weather patterns are partly to blame. The collision of sea breeze boundaries, where cool ocean air meets the warm, heavy inland atmosphere, creates dangerous conditions ripe for sudden tornadoes. There was no massive front, no widespread warning. Just a perfect storm of temperature, humidity, and wind shear. That's what made this tornado so deadly, its speed. Not just how fast it moved, but how quickly it formed. There was barely time to warn, let alone prepare. And when tornadoes like this strike residential areas filled with mobile and manufactured homes, the results are almost always catastrophic. For those who lived through it, the memories will linger. One woman was on the phone with her husband when she saw the sky turn green. Moments later, she was hiding under a mattress, praying. A man caught in his car yelled, "I'm in a tornado! I'm in it!" as winds hurled debris around him. He kept driving until the noise stopped. His voice, raw, panicked, still haunts those who've heard it. Another witness said simply, "It was like the world turned inside out." It wasn't just homes that were torn apart, it was peace of mind, a sense of safety, the illusion that disasters only happen somewhere else. But in the aftermath, something powerful emerged. Neighbors pulled each other from wreckage. Volunteers handed out tarps, food, bottled water. Chainsaws replaced sirens as residents began the hard work of clearing roads and salvaging what little was left. Shelters opened that same night. Some who lost everything still found a place to sleep, thanks to the compassion of strangers. From city officials to teenagers with shovels, everyone did something. There's something deeply human about the way a community rises after a storm, bruised, battered, but unbroken. Still, the road ahead will be long. Power lines dangle dangerously. Tree limbs teeter over walkways. Many homes will need to be rebuilt entirely. Insurance claims, inspections, and repairs will take weeks, if not months. And some things, like treasured keepsakes or a missing pet, may never be recovered. Local authorities continue urging the public to stay away from restricted zones. There are still hazards: gas leaks, unstable structures, sharp debris. But for those living there, moving forward is the only option. This tornado wasn't the largest. It wasn't the deadliest. But it was personal. It didn't just flatten buildings. It shattered routines, tested hearts, and left emotional scars. It was a cruel reminder that nature doesn't knock. It bursts in. But it also reminded us of something else: the power of unity, of neighbors showing up, of strangers lending hands, of survivors refusing to give up. Largo will rebuild. It always has. But the stories from June 25th will echo in the minds of many, forever etched into memories. Oh, to the people of Largo, we see your pain, we stand with your strength, and we honor your resilience. What was torn down will be raised again. What was lost will be mourned, but never forgotten. And from the wreckage, a community rises, not just to survive, but to heal. This is not just a story of destruction. It's a story of survival, of hope, of humanity at its finest, amid its darkest hours.